Start virtually here. Let's go here. There it is. Give me the link, man. Share.
Looks like ESPN's putting some stock in the USFL, eh?
What was that?
It looks like ESPN's putting some stock in the USFL.
Oh, are they? That's kind of
Well, I mean, it's been the first time I actually have seen the USFL on their ticker.
Well, what kind of an update was it? Because they'll report on sports news no matter what.
Yeah. It's mostly for signings.
Huh?
It's mostly just based on coaches' signings as of right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably just like. Screensaver.
It's nothing too pressing.
Yeah, so I bet. Oh, come on. All right, let me share this out real quick. What's your set look like, man? I gotta see if it's acceptable.
I mean, it's pretty much just my backdrop that I had from before.
So let's see it.
Hold on a second, bud. 2 seconds.
Start my camera. One. Wait, I can't. All right. There you are. All right, now
There I am.
go here. Let's go live video. Go live. Oh, I see. That's why. Test. Tony, one more time.
Test. 1 2 1 2.
One more time.
Test 1 2 1 2.
It's off. Got one. Oh, was that? All right, T, look at the camera.
Oh, good. You also have a jersey on.
To your right, you're gonna shade the whole show. Okay, I'm shading to my left. You're shading to your right, so you get your whole face on the screen. Actually, let me feed you. Right, okay, I gotta do it from this. What I can do is go OBS virtual camera. So that'll be mine. Now I gotta go back to here. Full screen. Okay, and then back down here. Alright, let me get this. Actually, I'm gonna edit that. Discard. I'm not gonna stream out twice. Edit post. There we go, virtual camera. Okay, I can go live here again too. Get out of here. Sun timeline. That's worrisome, but we'll go with it. Audio's live. Fading in. Cue talent. Talent is on. Welcome, everybody, to the first ever The One and Only Sizzle Sports Show. I'm Chuck Sizzle. Along with me is Tony, the one and only. Tony, happy to have you on the show. Gonna dive right in to the catch-up here. And Tony, we got to get into the story of where we came from athletically to give us a little bit of street cred, just a little bit, as well as how we met, which the campus was. I was on campus this afternoon, actually, which I prepared some graphics, to throw up at this particular thing. But you can only be talent and producer in so many ways. So, Tony, you want to give them your side of the story?
Well, a little brief overview of my stint in Bridgewater was, of course, back in 2006. Yep. We actually met right in orientation, actually. At first, I didn't have all of what I have right now. I just had my natural fade. And at this point, I was just some skinny kid, and I was one who looked like a particular wide receiver. And
that would be
Terrell. Ended up picking that out quickly. Someone ended up picking that out really quick. Owens. Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
And what did you do, Tony, during freshman year to get you, motivated during the football year, we'll say?
My motivation was don't get cut. That's it. Like my scenario was I want to be on this team if I am to be recruited for this team. So I just did not want to be able to let anybody down. I was one of those that I was going to make the team by hook or crook. So I was able to do it.
Yeah, you're not talking about a particular piece of memorabilia that you put on your wall of a specific wide receiver to give you some motivation. I'm not gonna talk about that. No.
Never. I never did that. Come on.
Yeah. So ultimately, yeah, we played D3 football together, and we became fast friends literally at the first table at orientation. I only played 1 year of football. I played a couple more years of semi-pro. Tony stuck out the entire 4 years with none other than who, Tony? I mean, maybe the most weirdest coach we've ever
had. Coach Chuck Danoon, man. Oh man, him and I have had a bit of a love-hate relationship when it comes to my 4 years. I actually was gonna stick around for the final year of my career, but unfortunately, he ended up cutting me. Yeah, that stung. That stung pretty hard.
The school cut him later, so you got that, going back.
I mean,
so
karma's not be. It's a mirror, man. It is.
Yeah,
I know that. It was fun to hear that, but I also loved hearing the fact that the team was going in the right direction with now Coach Joe Vieira. I mean, they're doing very
and Joe V retained Renee as offensive coordinator. They're in good hands. It's a great program ultimately, and excited to see and go back to more games. Like we went to this homecoming and it was amazing. Actually, I'm going to be teaching there, so we should always go to homecoming now.
Yes, and have no fear of thinking that we won't be able to get in because we actually know the protocol now. I mean, it's night and day in comparison to what has been homecoming when we were there. Okay.
Exactly. There's no torn up track that you have to kind of tiptoe around so you don't pull up some of the track. It's Swenson Field has grown up a bit, we'll say.
Absolutely.
Tony, I wanna get into some of our personal fandoms here and kind of outline kind of where our biases will be here in this show. Obviously I'm wearing a Team USA jersey, but I'm mostly a Boston guy. You're a little bit different. I mean, I know I got the Mighty Ducks and go straight to my heart. Paul Correa and the Mighty Ducks movies what got me into hockey. You're a little bit all over the map, though. I want to hear about kind of who you've rooted for in the past, who you're rooting for currently.
Well, as far as me going all over the map, it's only in football. As far as basketball is concerned, I have been a diehard Celtics fan, always have been, even when Jordan was destroying us in the 90s. I mean, again, my favorite player of all time.
Jordan destroyed everyone.
That's what I mean. Jordan is Jordan. So that doesn't mean anything, okay? So
yeah, exactly.
When it comes to basketball, when it comes to hockey, when it comes to baseball, I am Boston bred, always. Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, it's always going to be that way. Football, that's just a different animal for me, man. And when it started,
I mean, honestly, when I met you, you were following Donovan McNabb. That's when I met you. He was taking the Eagles to Super Bowls, and then he went to the Washington football team, soon to be Red Hogs. That's definitely where they're going.
I'm hearing Amarada, the Presidents.
No, it's not. Those would be awful, awful names. But I mean, you followed Donovan McNabb, and then you've landed on the Chicago Bears, which I can't. Why? I get it's a great franchise. Yeah, they haven't been the Bears since Walter Payton. But that is why
I love the tradition of the Chicago Bears, man. I mean, honestly, I have been hearing.
You know what they need to go to full time is the Michigan type helmet they have. They need to go to those full time. If the Washington football team can go, with numbers on the side in the NFL for 2 years, and everyone loves it, no one wants it to change. I think the Chicago Bears should go with that classic look. It's just a sick look. It's good. What do you think? You're an actual
For me,
fan.
I actually like the C that they have on the helmet. Honestly, I say to be able to keep the old school, pretty much Michigan sign for them. Let them have it. It's one of their trademarks anyway. So
it looks sick in a hockey helmet too. I mean, Michigan hockey is something to behold, at least especially in the USA. A bunch of NHLers. I mean, Marty Turco, maybe the greatest pads of all time when he was at Michigan. My fandoms run deep. There is one team I do want to talk about, and it's the Islanders. That is a team I adopted working for the AHL Sound Tigers, who are now the Bridgeport Islanders. Lou Lamoriello strikes again. Can't handle how much I do not like Lou Lamoriello running the Islanders, because we'll never see, when they do the reverse retro, they start to bring back old jerseys. They didn't go with the fisherman, they didn't go with the teal and the or, that's where you needed to go, was that jersey. And Lou Lamoriello's no, shade darker. Come on, man. And he ruined the Sound Tigers. He eliminated them. They're now the Bridgeport Islanders, and it's a B with a hockey stick. It's awful. But I learned to love the team. And one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me was I was with two of my Sean friends. And if we keep doing this, people will get to know that I have a bevy of Seans in my life. And they're all the greatest person I know. And so it was two of them, Sean Elliott and Sean Sweat. And we saw a guy with the Islanders fisherman jersey, And we shouted across him and hey, man. Huh?
I was there for this. That Bridgeport Sound.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, so you saw this happen, and so we're dude, sweet jersey. And Sean Sweat was just hey man, I'll pay you $20 for it. Guy took the shirt off his back, and took $20 and walked away.
He did not give a shit.
One of the greatest things.
He was one of those that was just I'm just gonna be able to take this and call it a day. It
was just an amazing night, just fantastic. So that's kind of one of my weird fandoms. I mean, I've always been a Bruins fan, although I probably rooted harder for the Ducks back in the day. I mean, Paul Kariya and Guy Hebert were just my favorite players. I loved Andy Moog. I want to get a helmet painted the bear one that he had. The Red Sox diehard, obviously. I did follow the Angels for a little bit when they went on that run with the Rally Monkey. I memorized their whole lineup. I just didn't want Barry Bonds to win, so I started rooting hard for the Anaheim Angels, which I will refuse to say Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. It'll always be the Anaheim Angels.
What it is. It's what it is, man.
No, Anaheim
Fortunately,
Angels
the Bridgeport
for
Sound
life.
Tigers are no longer. They are the Bridgeport Islanders. You just have to get used to it.
No, I don't have to get used to it. I don't have to do a goddamn thing. I can be bitter my whole life.
You don't have to get used to it. Well,
Nope.
as far as like my own like personal fandom, I mean, that whole thing started with the Patriots' first Super Bowl win. I was 12 years old, and I watched that thing till the very end. I saw them kick the field goal, and I'm like, oh, Pats won. They did it. They finally conquered it.
Oh my god. And no. Are you talking about the one where are you talking about not the one the first Super Bowl that they won, the first Super Bowl that they lost? Well, in our era.
No.
This is the perfect game, wasn't it?
What's that?
Huh? I thought you were telling the story of the perfect season where he told you to walk home.
Oh God, no. This is like right in the beginning. Like I was 12 years old, and I remember this like it was yesterday because my friend's mother ends up giving me a call at the end of the game, and mind you, this is not a story that I know for a fact she does not want to be able to hear. But regardless, I'm going to be saying it anyway because it pretty much allowed me to spark a fire in myself to be able to be like, I hate the Patriots, man. So she gives me a phone call. Now, mind you, I'm 12 years old, okay? I just watched one of the teams that...
Almost an adult, almost a bar mitzvah age.
Yes, almost. But at this point, I'm like, I didn't want to see them winning. And lo and behold, I get this phone call, and she's like, the Rams suck. Go Pats. Woo! And literally just hangs up the phone. I'm like... and I'm just like... I'm just going at the point. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot stand these damn Pats.
You know, we're a different breed, man. You know, when the Patriots won their last one, I was watching it in Southern Connecticut with a bunch of like Giants and Jets fans, and the Patriots won, and the place had an Alexa, so I just walked in and I'm like, hey Alexa, play "We Are the Champions," and everyone just like, no.
Oh my God,
that was sweet. That was very sweet.
That last Patriots win. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That last Patriots win, I was actually at one of my buddies' houses, and one of our friends who we don't really tend to be able to see, it's like they won it for the first time. It seriously was like they won it for the first time. This man is bawling, crying. We call his dad, being like, I can't believe we ended up doing this. I can't believe it. He's amazing. This is awesome.
It came out of nowhere. I think the Patriots went into the playoffs at 11-5, and they limped in. Like, I think that's the year we lost to Miami at the end of the year. Huh?
People knew they were still going to get it. As soon as they ended up beating
when Sean McVay gets way too much credit these days, because like switching it up to zone costs you a Super Bowl. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
One of the most boring.
Like, zone's gonna like trip you up. Like cover threes, like your kryptonite. Come on. Oh man. Anyways, all right, Tony. I want to get into the topics that we're gonna cover today. After a good catch up, our first one that we're gonna talk about here, in the Down to Business, will be the national championship. That's gonna be our first conversation. After that, we're gonna, especially after today, it actually is kind of timely on a weekly show to talk about AB today. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's obviously there's some sort of percentage where it meets in the middle of like who's more right, who's not. But I'm pretty sure it's like 75% Bucks right, 25% AB. I'll get your thoughts on that during the Down to Business. And then NFL playoffs and awards, what we think is going to happen, and who's going to take it all? Who's going to go to the Super Bowl? AFC's packed. And then we'll go through some quick hits here. I'll touch on the NHL. I will give the NBA to you. And then the reason I'm wearing a USA Olympic jersey, I want to talk about the World Junior Championship cancellations and no NHL in the Olympics. And then our deep dive is going to be both of us talking about John Madden, both the man, the myth, the legend, and what the game itself has meant to us and where the current state of the game is at currently. And then we will finish it up with a Stoned Cold Happy Hour. So feel free to comment, and we will be drinking and smoking and just kind of talking about whatever we want to talk about. That's all coming up here on the One and Only Sizzle Sports Show. We're also, if anyone wants to comment and say that this name isn't good, this is something that we came up yesterday and we're just working with. I like it. I mean, it's got a lot of alliteration at the end with all those S's. I almost want to think experience, but we'll see. I mean, we also wanted to do Two Bears in the Woods, but that could also be misconstrued. But that might give us an audience that we wouldn't normally get. So we'll get right into the down to business. Tony, the national championship. I feel like Bryce Young is set up now to have like a Tua type moment, to like have a big time like game winning throw like in overtime. I think it's gonna be a good game, but does Georgia have a chance, Tony?
Well, considering the fact that they have been at this point just Alabama's baby brother, considering the circumstances. At this point, Alabama is putting themselves in the mindset of thinking, you know what? They had the SEC championship. It's already been taken care of. We got the job done there. But Georgia is still a very competitive football team. They're still coming into it with a mindset of thinking that they're going to be still the underdog in the game. But
they are. They certainly are.
They are.
Yeah. Like, Bama's got a legit defense. They always do. Huh?
They're a 2-point underdog to Georgia right now. So, I mean,
they always will be.
Yeah, it can go either.
It can, but you can only really take so much of it. Like, for Kirby Smart, what does it mean if he can't beat Bama this year? Will it really harm his legacy? That, how much of it is Nick Saban's success, right? Really overshadowing a lot of these really great coaches, legacies, like Brian Kelly searching for a national championship, leaving Notre Dame and going directly to LSU. He knows he needs to be in the SEC. Jimbo Fisher obviously was like, I got it. He went from Florida State to Texas A&M, and you being a Florida State fan, I saw Florida State as a much bigger program than Texas A&M, but Jimbo Fisher's like, nah, I got to be in the SEC. So can any does all of this Nick Saban success tarnish any of the legacies from any of the other coaches?
I don't really feel like it can, because it's one of those things where no matter what, they're still getting these recruits. They're still getting enough to be able to be these contenders within I'm honestly, it's just a conference within itself. It's just the SEC, and nothing else. Because at this point, the Big Ten, you don't really get as much.
We saw with Michigan, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Anyone.
My buddy Chris Malley, go Blue. Sorry. I'm sorry.
And now they might. And now they might even lose Harbaugh, right? Now they might even lose Harbaugh. So talking about all of these other teams, do we care, right? Does the Sizzle, does the Pine Tree Entertainment umbrella, do we care that it's an all SEC final, or is that just what we should expect in any other final that doesn't have two SEC teams and is kind of a joke?
Listen, until Alabama, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right up front. Until Nick Saban is gone, it's going to be an all SEC show here, okay? Because at this point, this has been the absolute powerhouse within the 2010s and within most of the 2000s as well, the later 2000s.
I think, yeah, and it's I do think it tarnishes the legacies, of some of these college coaches, because you talked about, right, they still get the recruits, they still have some athletes. Like when they play against lesser competition, it shows. I mean, there's a reason why it's not just SEC guys that have success in the NFL, right? Excuse me, not COVID. There's a reason why they have success in the NFL. They have these athletes. So what about the system? It just seems like Alabama, no matter who comes in, they have the best defense. They have now an explosive offense. It used to kind of be like when they had the Greg McElroy and Landry Jones, and even really like they've reverted back to it a little bit with Mac Jones, but he can push the ball down the field. He's very much a classic style quarterback. Like it used to just be they got away with their defense and that was it. Their offense was okay. They usually had, I mean, they had, what was it, Kamara,
wait a minute,
Henry,
they had a very stellar running game,
and one other guy on the same team at the same time. I mean, that's 3 NFL guys in the same backfield. And so, you know, when we really think about it, like now they have an explosive offense. They've had now at least 2 QBs in Bryce Young and Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Hurts really kind of came out of his shell, but in Oklahoma, but he was much more of a game manager before they turned it over to Tua. They used to just be like that ground and pound, like tell the QB don't fuck this up, and then we're not going to allow you to score anything but field goals, and you know you're going to have to like fight tooth and claw just to get the field goal. It's insane to think that because I mean, you even think about all the wide receivers that have come out of there. Then
you've had men like Julio Jones,
NFL players.
Julio Jones. You have Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Like these wide receivers have definitely been able to help out these quarterbacks who have been told, "Don't mess this shit up." So you have it.
Yeah, it's like fuck it. Like one of those receivers is down there.
Yeah, so
but like, I don't know. I kind of care about an all SEC final. It's like a weird, I don't want an all SEC final really ever, but at the same time, the realist in me about this stuff also says that if you want a true national champion, it should just be the SEC championship replayed. Like they should make a best 2 out of 3. Like, or it should just be an all SEC. Like, just consider the SEC championship the national championship, basically. Like, I just don't see too many upsets coming.
Unless when you're looking at it, when you only have 4 teams, and could be a whole different topic within itself. You also allow yourself not to be able to have other teams that could be able to compete for this national championship. When you have 4 of those teams and 2 of them being within the SEC, it's going to be very difficult, you know.
But if they expand it to 8, so if they expand it to 8, do you give the SEC 4 slots and 2 teams that didn't play in the SEC championship then get into the playoff, or do you try and include more teams and like SEC basically gets 2 automatic bids if you make it to the championship? Like, how does that work? Like, because that's ultimately where you'd see it, right? Like, all right, we're going to give 4 teams to try and beat Goliath, basically.
Well, it's mostly in the point of if you have the top 8 teams, and if for some reason 5 of them are within the SEC, then of course this whole thing is moot. But that's never really the case. You have a lot of teams that are within the Big Ten. You have a lot of teams that are within the Pac-12 sometimes get in within the top 8. So it's kind of hard for us to really be able to.
Well, let me ask you this, right? So probably the 2 best teams, because I think Cincy played up. So let's use 2 other Power 5 conference teams, Oregon and Michigan, right? Probably the 2 best and I know, could probably Ohio State had a down year, but so Michigan, Oregon, probably your 2 best. Or Houston, maybe, or no, not Houston. University of Utah, who won the Rose Bowl, or was that Houston? Utah, yeah. Sick jerseys too, but maybe they replace Oregon. But you know, it's a toss up there. Are any of those teams like Thibodeau Kayvon Thibodeau was injured going into the bowl season, which, we'll get into sitting out bowl games as well. I do want to touch on that still. But like, do you think they would have fared any better than Michigan? Like, I think Texas A&M, who I think was maybe third or fourth in the SEC this year, like would have done the same thing to Michigan. I think Michigan had to go down to maybe like the number 4, number 5 to have a good game in the SEC.
I do gotta admit,
other than LSU, who just fell apart.
I gotta admit, when I did see the front 7 lineup with Georgia and Michigan, it did literally look like man against boys. It was ridiculous. You just see big
those SEC teams
defensive linemen
but they're also fast now. Like, they're also fast. They're also like quick and agile.
They've always been fast. That's the
they're
worst
smart.
part.
Like, they're playing in a Nick Saban system. Like, oh Jesus, it's bad. All right. Well, I don't know. So let's touch on these last little bit of college football that are much more kind of like an offshoot of the national championship conversation, because we've had a crazy year for the transfer portal. NILs are already well into the millions, and for people like 8th graders they're like, oh, they can sign NIL deals now, like, and they're getting recruited out of like junior high and shit. And then, sitting out bowl games. So I want to kind of run through those thoughts with you quickly. Like, what are your thoughts on the transfer portal, especially with how crazy it's been?
To me, honestly, I feel that if they are, like, as of right now, they're pretty much taking care of themselves. And within situations where it's a meaningless bowl game, I can understand them wanting to be able to, I was actually thinking of the ones that actually want to be able to sit and declare for the draft. But as far as like the transfer portal, I mean, I don't mind it, because you want to be. I can still hear you there. You want to be able to be in the best slot for you to be able to get a better draft pick. Because at that point you got to get to the better school. So.
Well, I mean, it's like you got to play, right? So, and then NILs, like, I mean, I was in favor for paying college kids, so I can't really bitch too much about that kind of stuff. But it is, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I was more like, yeah, like, feel free to give them like stipends within the school, but I guess it's no different than just like alumni and boosters slipping them cash, right? No different.
Much. No, it really is.
Exactly.
To me, honestly, if the colleges themselves are going to be making, sometimes they're within the billions of dollars. All of these colleges are making billions of dollars. In the fact that these players aren't really getting anything and being reprimanded for just being able to put food on their tables. I mean, you got to be able to give them something. And I do know a few of my friends that are no, they shouldn't be doing that. They have so much that they are able to get. But remember, all of the stuff that they have to be able to sacrifice. Some of them can't be able to work because they have all of these practices they have to be able to make while maintaining a certain average.
Most of them can. That's why, like, when people are like, well, why aren't they more like student athletes? And it's like, well, gee, this is a job, man. Like, if you ever played a college sport, and I know, like, D3 athletes are, they gotta, we did, like, we had to keep the grades up. We didn't get that kind of special treatment, but it is something to think about in terms of, like, the sport demands so much out of the students because it brings in so much money,
right?
Like, so those kids, they're going to be doing that full time. Let's dive into Antonio Brown. So obviously more shit came out today. My thought is basically that, he didn't talk to them. He had this mysterious, like, ankle injury that he had recorded with other people not affiliated with the team, so he could try and pull this shit out. But because he never told the team, like, they're just like, we don't have anything on record. Like, you were on the injury report, but so what, like, who, what's your percentage of, I'm 25 AB that I think, like, in his head, he was injured, and, like, they do try to force you through injury, and, like, I'm sure they gave him some sort of major painkiller, but like he also pulled some shit and now is trying to throw them under the bus, and the text messages don't say that much.
Well, in his situation, it's like the old saying: the more things change, the more they say the same. So, I mean, his
Right.
complications that he had with Pittsburgh, the way that he was getting on Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger
Pittsburgh,
about,
the Raiders, the
yep, you had
Patriots.
the issue with Mitch Baylock and the now Las Vegas Raiders, and but with the Pats, I mean, honestly, with that was pretty much just his own undoing.
It's all
You
off
know,
field
so
shit. Yeah, it was all
yeah,
off
it's
field.
a lot of the off-field
I was
nonsense.
I was I was surprised that he got let back onto a team, honestly, after those allegations. I mean, those were some pretty fucking serious ones, and sexual harassment, potentially sexual assault, like and then throwing on blast and like threatening the person that accused you of it when she wasn't actually pressing charges. Like I was like, how does Roger Goodell justify letting him play on a team again? And then I was like, I feel like Brady cashed in the Deflategate favor to get him on the Bucks. Because like,
I mean,
same
honestly,
thing with like similar with Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson never got suspended, never got put on the commissioner's list. Like the Texans basically rolled with 3 quarterbacks the entire year, and
never played
like
him though.
so
They
how does
never
like
played him.
no, they never played him, and he didn't want to play. Davis Mills looks good. Like he looked great against the Patriots, and I was like, wow, the Patriots really suck. And then like by the end of the year, he had the most 300-yard passing games of any like rookie quarterback in history. So
But would
like,
you
and he
take
had
him over
I think he
Deshaun
had a
though?
good, huh?
Would you take him over Deshaun? Would you take him over Watson?
At this point, if I'm the Texans, yeah, I throw Davis Mills a full year next year. Let him like because he's a rookie this year. He showed some moxie, and because like I think locally like there's no way you could really justify it to your fans after sitting him voluntarily a whole year. And for what he did, it's sexual assault shit. Like no, that should just be a death knell. Period. Should be. But
Depends on who you want.
obviously it's
It
not. It
really
never
does.
has been in the NFL. Nah, it never has been in the NFL. The NFL doesn't have a good track record with that.
Nope. Telling you, money talk, my friend.
So
Money
all
talk.
right, so obviously one. What was your favorite meme? Mine was the when you rage quit in Madden.
Your opponent
Which
has
one was yours?
basically just left the match.
Yeah, it was
There actually
the
was
rage
a
like
meme.
when
There actually was a meme of him like doing like jumping jacks. They actually did a meme of him in a full-on Jets cheerleading outfit. Just him
oh yeah, I
doing
saw
out.
that one. That was
They
good.
did him so
That was good.
dirty.
That one was
They
good.
did him so
That one
wrong.
was good.
Oh
Ah,
man,
fuck
that
you.
was. Hey,
All right,
again,
let's
it's
go
one of those where
NFL.
you can't
Let's
really
let's hit
tell.
on the NFL playoffs here. Let's hit on the NFL playoffs.
Okay.
Thoughts on the extra game that we get this weekend? Do you think it makes a big difference?
Mm, well, as of right now, when you have a scenario where you can actually have two teams just be able to sit on a football and just call it a tie, and they can have the opportunity to get into the playoffs, it's kind of a big
I
deal.
want them to do that so badly. I want them to do that so badly. Well, it's like at this point they need the 18th game to even it up. Like this whole odd number system is weird. So I think they need now, like if you're gonna go with this, eliminate the or the third preseason game, give us a week 18 now and call it a day. Give everyone 2 bye weeks and like let's just go for it. I think I don't like it. I don't. I appreciate having extra football, but I do think football is such a game of attrition that I feel like we didn't get everyone's A game this year. And that's why the AFC is just so packed in the middle. So give me your Super Bowl pick, both teams, and the winner.
So for me, I would say out of the AFC, I feel like it's going to be. I feel like it's actually going to be Kansas City. I feel like they're coming on at a right time. Mahomes is now
Spagnola's got their
regardless,
defense in a good place.
and this is outside of the loss to Cincinnati that they had, because of course Cincy, it's a damn good team, and with them, I do feel that they would be able to get one back on them if the time comes. Yeah. Buffalo, of course, a really good horse, but an underdog sleeper team, and of course, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's those damn Patriots. It could happen. They can be able to do it.
I think they'll win one because I think Bill Belichick will be able to game plan for one playoff game with Mac Jones, but I don't think they make it past the first round. Or I don't think they make it past. I think they have a chance to get blown out in a second game in the playoffs. But who's your NFC team?
My NFC team, as much as I feel that he may not be able to do it, considering that he's 1-4 in NFC Championship games, it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. I feel that the Packers do have.
Aaron Rodgers gives no fucks this year. He's breaking through.
I mean, mind you, him.
It's what he said. Said it this week.
I mean, him losing 4 out of the last 5 NFC championships he's played, he's got to be due for one more. He's got to be due for one more Super Bowl appearance, unless he ends up having to face Tampa Bay again. If you face Tampa Bay again, you're going to probably see Brady in the Super Bowl.
Tommy Brady. So I think the LA Rams break through this year. They're just going all in. I want to feel good for Matt Stafford, and I think they face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes has been there so many times. I think he's extremely focused. I like where Steve Spagnuolo has his defense, and then I think Mahomes outduels Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford could have a chance to shit his pants in the Super Bowl.
So you're saying now, you're saying here right now with a straight face that Matthew Stafford will win his first playoff game. He's going to win his first playoff.
Oh yeah. They're dead. They're winning at least one. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. LA Rams winning at least one.
Okay.
They're too loaded. They have to. Odell Beckham's playing like Odell again. Like they're in a good spot too. So who's your winner?
Playing better. He's not playing like New York Giants Odell. He's playing better though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We gotta keep moving here. T. Who's your winner?
My winner? Huh? I'm gonna say that it's gonna be Kansas City. I feel like Kansas City would be able to get the job done.
Yep. And then let's just talk awards. Who's your MVP?
I mean, honestly, I'd love to give it to Jonathan Taylor, especially the way that he's having the year that he is having. We haven't had a 20 touchdown plus running back since LT. So this is definitely a huge year for the running backs. But unfortunately,
it's the right year. It's the right year to not give it to a quarterback. I will give you that. I agree with you on that. I think we have the same MVP.
Yes. But they won't. Yeah. They're going to give it to Aaron Rodgers.
All right. Let's get to quick hits and get into our deep dive after that. Tony, give me a thought, especially about the Celtics. Focusing on the Celtics. Keep it local here.
All right.
I'll ask you this question, and I want your thoughts on this. JB or JT?
JT. All day. There's no way I can play.
Is it that simple?
It's very simple. I mean, mind you, Jaylen Brown is one of those who is a great talent for the Celtics, but the only problem is he does not have that killer mentality to be able to take over a game like the way that Jason Tatum can do. He can do those things.
I don't know.
Jaylen Brown is a great piece and a great player for our team. It's fantastic. The only problem is he just does not have that killer instinct, which is something that we really need for this team.
They're also kind of like the same player.
They're close.
They're both wings.
They're close. Yes, they're both one's a 2, one's a 3.
Tony, give me one thought you want from me on the NHL. What's a thing you want my opinion on?
Okay, so I've been hearing a lot about. I'm going to stick to local as far as the NHL here. I'm hearing a lot about Jake DeBrusk and him wanting to be traded. Where do you see? I knew that was coming. Where do you see where would you see Jake DeBrusque fitting in a different environment, and who would you want in replace for him?
So first part is I'm really not sure where I would see him succeeding, because it's not a question of talent. It's a
Mm-hmm.
question of willpower and toughness. So that's really, and that's his game. So he got injured. I think it was a concussion, and like he kind of hasn't. He's been one of those players. He hasn't quite been the same since.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the edge. You know, if he had like Trent Frederick's edge, like he would be probably a 15 to 20 goal scorer, which is exactly what you need from him. So I just don't know if a change of scenery does it for him.
Okay.
I think you would have to go to a place like Phoenix and be somewhere where like, you know, someone like Phil Kessel can thrive, or you know, or he's in a different locker room with a different leader like a Sidney Crosby on the Penguins. That, you know, it's just a different. But if I, you know, it's also like if Patrice Bergeron can't get it out of him, then um, you know, I don't know if anyone can. And
Right.
what I want in return for him, like a left shot defenseman that's actually useful. What I think he can get in a return, got a goddamn thing, a bag of pucks. I like his trade value so fucking low. Like, no,
Oh,
you're not getting anything. I would be over the moon if I saw yesterday, if I saw tomorrow, like Don Sweeney flips Jake DeBrusque for a third round draft pick. I'd be like, wonderful job, great job. But that also would be kind of an admittance that we're not making, or we're not going deep into the playoffs, which, you know, we brought in Nick Foligno and a bunch of people, Hala, and you know, so we're going for it. And so with our last quick hit, I just want to talk about basically international hockey in general. It
mhm.
really sucks that the pros aren't going to the Olympics. I think that's a huge miss and a huge hit for Beijing Olympics. And I understand why. I do. It just sucks. And then how they handle the World Junior Championship and, you know, the Women's Championship is also just hypocritical to the absolute max. And how international tournaments and pro leagues treat female athletes. I mean, that they canceled the women's because they couldn't keep them safe, but they still tried to go through with the men's and had to cancel anyways because literally every team caught fucking COVID, is an absolute
Mhm.
travesty, and shows how little how little respect still that, like, you know, women hockey players have in that world, and how far we need to still go, because I that we aren't seeing U.S. Canada for, I think, now the second straight year in any kind of facet, um, is really a damaging thing to the sport overall. It just
Oh
is.
yeah.
So that's my thoughts on that. I wanted to get those out. I'm really disappointed in how international hockey's going right now. Even wearing the USA shirt, but these are the years that I think this is from Nagano. Um, you know, those were some pretty classic ones when you had, you know, Dominic Hasek. I think that might have been '02. Like Dominic Hasek stole the Olympic medal for the Czech Republic, and you just miss those magical moments without those people in those tournaments. So we're going to take a quick break right now. I am going to give one ad for Pine Tree Entertainment. Check us out online, pinetreemultimedia.com, on Facebook, Instagram, and all your social medias at Pine Tree Entertainment. Tony, do you have anything to plug in this moment?
Well, I would have to say, if you're ever actually in the Rhode Island area, next Sunday, January 16th, I will be performing at Hills Tavern and Grill in Chepachet, Rhode Island, from 2 to 5, known as the Sinatra Experience. Come by if you want to be able to listen to some fantastic music from the chairman of the board himself, myself, my partner Sean Hayes, and DJ Sergio will be on the ones and twos helping us out so that we can be able to serenade the masses. Mhm.
Fantastic. All right, I should be there. I am getting no, I'm not getting it then. I'm not getting my COVID shot then. Booster shot. All right,
We
Tony,
got
do you have a drink at hand? I'm just gonna bring one up early and to get into our deep dive here. So let's cheers.
1 second,
Yep,
my
go grab
friend.
one. Go grab one.
Thank you kindly. It's a nice little single barrel here for you.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen on the Facebook Live.
Hopefully no banning, correct?
No, it's nothing like that. It's audio.
What happened? Hopefully no banning, correct?
Something fucked up. Because now you're not coming through. All right, I think we're back.
What happened?
No, the Facebook Live has a weird audio setting, so it's fine. We'll figure this all out. This is why you do one. All right. So, cheers to John Madden. May he be missed.
Hello.
Man, a myth, and legend. So, T. I had a hard time getting into John Madden because he simplified things so much as a broadcaster, but I think now with who we have as analysts, like Tony Romo trying to like guest place. Tony Romo's awful. I fucking hate Tony Romo. All the former players who try to go into way too much detail, stuff like that. I really miss now that kind of simplification from John Madden. You there, T?
Still there, my friend. I just wanted to make sure that the audio was all set.
Yeah. I'm just going to end the Facebook Live one.
I just wanted to make sure that the audio was all set.
This fucking thing. All right, we're going to end that one. All right, YouTube's still going. Delete video. That one's still going. All right. Yeah, so T, what are your thoughts here on John Madden? What's your salute to John Madden?
I mean, when it came to John Madden, I was still pretty young when Madden was kind of like at his peak. So I never really got the full respect of him until like a few years before he ended up retiring. I was always amped to be able to actually listen to him, Pat Summerall, and now with all of these commentators now with like a gentleman named Greg Olson, like Louis Riddick, again, like you mentioned, all of these new commentators that are trying to be able to not really fill his shoes, but I mean, at this point, it just looks like they're all just trying to just get a paycheck. Like when you see what Madden was doing and allowing people to be able to understand the game of football. Now, mind you, shout out to Frank Caliendo. That man is probably the best Madden impersonator that I've ever heard in my life. And it's actually very true. Like the simplicity of what John Madden does to the game allows us to be able to really want to be able to listen to it, even though it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know that, John, I understand. I know that because I've been playing football almost all my life. Not the shorty that, ended up watching it for the first time and didn't really understand the game of football. So I see him as someone who has definitely been a revolutionary in referral to football as a whole. As far as broadcasting as a whole, he's one of the biggest icons. And it's going to be very, very disheartening knowing the fact that he's going to be gone. And that he is gone, sorry.
And talk about, the game, Madden, NFL football. from
Mm-mm.
EA Sports.
He's in the game.
Talk about I feel like they're like ruining his reputation. Like he was like, we're gonna have a simulation style football game, and that is not what Madden is at this point. Madden is anything but simulation. Um,
No.
Should they take his name off it because they're doing him such a disservice?
You can't tell with that situation, man, because I feel like, see, like back in the day when we were playing Madden and Madden was actually on the cover. I believe that was in 1999 was the last year that he was actually on the cover. I believe 2000 was I don't remember who was in 2000, but I remember 2001 was Eddie George because that was the first ever Madden game that I bought, and I was instantly hooked just like that. I mean, they had competition with that. You had NFL
the PS, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you had NFL Game Day, you had NFL 2K, of which were all great games as a whole. But nowadays, everything is just strictly EA Sports, and that's it. So at this point, all they're doing is just monopolizing the game and just being able to just try to do a lot of the copycat stuff that's been going on with NBA 2K. You have the yard.
Yeah.
You mentioned the yard.
Yep.
Like, come on, that's some of the stupidest shit. I mean, the simulation part of it is been kind of weak at best. So
Yeah.
I really hope that
that's the thing. Like, I'm sure John Madden wanted competition for his game to keep it at the top of its game. I'm sure that's what he wanted. We need another one. We need a truly simulation style and allow EA Sports to just go in the direction that they're going. I think that's what's needed, really, right?
2K
needs to get back into this. I know they just signed.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they signed a license, but it can't be a simulation football game. That's the shitty part. All right, T. Let us take a quick another break here. You got your drink? You good to go?
And confirm.
Do you have the other thing? Because we are about to start the Stone Cold Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on a sec. So we're going to take a quick break. Going to go into the holding screen. Fade. Okay. Stop.
I don't know if you needed background music or not, but there you go.
Yeah, I gotta ultimately I got a lot of notes off of this, so that's what this is for. So I think we're just gonna go with it, and our audio's been live the whole time. Anyways, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're back for the Stone Cold Happy Hour.
Ugh.
Cheers, Tony. I have Lagavulin 8-year I got for Christmas. What are you drinking there, T?
I am drinking Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, which I also got from Christmas as well.
Very nice. I have picked up a pre-roll from Gage Cannabis in Ayer, Massachusetts. It's a very nice sativa. It's called Hot Mess, which is what this broadcast has been the entire night.
I don't know about that. Come on now. Gotta have a little bit more.
Oh, I for sure do. So here's like the big thing, right? The virtual camera going out to Facebook. I couldn't get that audio, and I could only get specific audio inputs. So I'm using I'm using a software called SWB to bring yours out. So I can only bring yours. They couldn't hear me at all on Facebook Live. this YouTube recording, I think is getting both of us, because it's actually I'm actually streaming to it. So I think next time I'm gonna straight stream to Facebook Live, and we'll do this there. And then the frame rate. So I have my camera set to 24 frames per second. OBS is set to 24 frames per second. Your webcam, which is not something I thought of,
I would have
your
no
webcam
idea.
is set to 30 frames per second. So you're like you're like falling behind. So that's why there's now a delay when we talk. So because we're at different frame rates. Yeah. So T.
By the way, I can't see. I think you might be on your old screen again.
I am not. You can't hear me now?
No, I just can't see you. But I don't know if that was supposed to be the case.
Oh, no, we're not. You're getting fed. Because you're full screen. It must have switched the. That's weird. Hold on a sec. Start video. Now can you see me?
I see me. And now I see you.
You see you. Yeah. Back down. Yeah, so this is incredibly hard to produce and be talent at the same time.
Tell me about it. There's a reason why the one and only podcast didn't last that long.
Yeah. I'll get better at this. I just gotta get a bunch of shit preset. But I'll try and figure out too is I can pull in on this computer here, because that's where I might run and show like here. And so I can pull in like a Facebook to see who's commenting and shit. So I'll do that. Otherwise, this went pretty well. I mean, it was a good conversation back and forth.
Absolutely.
I just gotta remember to set my shit to. I just gotta remember to set my shit to 30. All right. I'm gonna close this out. Thanks for joining the one and only the one and only Sizzle Sports Show. I'm Chuck Scott. Tony, say goodnight to the folks.
Good night to the folks.
All right. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. Same time, 6:30, Wednesday evening, here on Pine Tree Entertainment. Good night. Take care.